Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and today we're starting on a series about the wealthy, the rich, these assholes who fucking use the average person to make money. Yeah. So today we're starting off with, why not, top of the list, Elon Musk, the richest man, the wealthiest man in the world. So yeah. Now, he's in his early 50s, born in South Africa, has citizenship in South Africa, Canada, and the US. He got education from the University of Pennsylvania, and the only occupation they give him is businessman. He's been founder and CEO and chief engineer of SpaceX, CEO and product architect of Tesla. Keep in mind, it don't say founder. Owner, CTO, and executive chairman of X, formerly Twitter. Again, not founder. President of the Musk Foundation. Founder of the Boring Company, X Corp, and XAI. Co-founder of Neuralink, OpenAI, Zip2, and X.com, which was part of what would become PayPal. Now, he claims he's independent, but as far right as he goes now, no. He's not independent. Had two wives. First one he was married to for 8 years. Second one he was married to for 2 years, divorced, and then a year later they remarried for 3 more years, and they got divorced again. So clearly he's not a good person. He does not work well with others. But yeah. Just wondering what the Boring Company is. Is infrastructure, tunnel construction. Okay. But yeah. As of December 2024, Forbes estimates his net worth to be at $439.4 billion. Although others list his wealth much differently. We have a different article here, the actual wealth of Elon Musk. Like I said, they had the Forbes account of what I say, 436, 39.4. That was, yeah, that's the most recent one. But he's also got suggestions that it may be $486 billion, according to Bloomberg. And they got another one that's $464 billion from Forbes. So yeah. Most of his value is tied up in stocks, and thus it's the fact that he does have so much inherent wealth, which is why I believe there should be a tax on stocks. You know, you shouldn't be allowed to sit there and say, okay, I have ownership in this company. That's why my money's just going to grow. No, fuck you. The average person doesn't get to do that. You're going to be taxed for that bullshit. If you're going to make that kind of money, you should be taxed for it. Honestly. But yeah, became the first person in the world to have a net worth above 300 billion, and now he's over 400 billion, potentially close to 500 billion. So he's worth almost $500 billion. And this is where I find the insanity of people electing Trump, who was buddy-buddy with Musk, and being like, he's going to lower my prices and do things for me. No, they won't. They're all rich buddy-buddies. They don't want to do things that help the average person. It's all about them and their wealthy friends. They don't give a damn about the average person. That's clear as a bell. He's stated before he only founded SpaceX to go to Mars. Yeah. And then people are like, oh, well, he's got all these other companies he's been a big part of. PayPal was perhaps the first big one we know of him being involved with. I've been reading through, so let me scroll back up here. In the synopsis here, if I can keep the stupid thing straight, PayPal, American multinational financial technology company operating an online payment system in the majority of countries to support online money transfers, and serves as an electronic alternative to traditional paper methods such as checks and money orders. The company operates as a payment processor for online vendors, auction sites, and many other commercial users, for which it charges a fee. It was established in 1998 as, they say, Confinity, but it was actually much earlier. It had a name before it changed its name to Confinity. There's a lot of changes PayPal has gone through. FieldLink was the original name in December of 1998. It was later renamed Confinity. It went public through an IPO, initial public offering, I think is what that stands for. I don't do stock trading, so I don't know. Yeah, initial public offering. It became a wholly owned subsidiary for eBay late in 2002 and was valued at $1.5 billion. In 2015, 13 years later, it spun off. eBay spun PayPal off to its shareholders, and it became an independent company once more, for which it still is. It was ranked 143rd on the 2022 Fortune 500. Now, The company FieldLink, which became Confinity, was established, as we said, December 1998 by Max Levchin, Peter Thiel, Luke Nozick. And it was a company which developed security software for handheld devices. When it had no successes with that business model, it switched its focus to a digital wallet. So yeah, it didn't even begin as dealing with money. It was security software for things like phones, beepers, just handheld devices. I'm trying to remember if beepers were still around back then. I think they were. When it had no success with that business model, it switched its focus to become a digital wallet. The first version of the PayPal electronic payment system was launched in 1999. So yeah, it first started what it would become in 99 as dealing with money exchange. In March of 2000, it merged with X.com, an online financial services company founded in March 1999 by Elon Musk, Harris Fricker, and Christopher Payne and Ed Ho. Yeah. Musk talks about him being optimistic about the future successes of money transfer business Confinity was developing. Musk and Bill Harris, then president and CEO of X.com, disagreed at the potential future success of the money transfer business, and Harris would leave X.com in May of 2000, which by that point it had already merged with Confinity. In October of that same year, Musk decided that X.com would terminate its other internet banking operations and focus on payments. In the same month, Elon Musk was replaced by Peter Thiel as CEO of X.com, which was renamed PayPal in June 2001 and went public in 2002. So there's where Musk was involved. The company already existed. He kind of had his own little thing going, and he merged with the group that would become PayPal. Now, we also have, by Musk, other things. Tesla, which is often one-sided by people of how amazing it is. He's got all the ownership, blah, blah, blah. It was an American multinational automotive and clean energy company headquartered in Austin, Texas, designing, manufacturing, and selling battery electric vehicles, stationary battery energy storage devices from home to grid scale, solar panels and solar shingles, and related products and services. It was founded in July 2003 by Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning as Tesla Motors. So, companies made. Its name is a tribute to inventor and electrical engineer Nikola Tesla, who worked for Thomas Edison and would later become his rival. In February 2004, Elon Musk joined as Tesla's largest shareholder. So again, another company he had nothing to do with creation of, but he's like, I want to get involved on this. So yeah. Uh, in 2008, he was named the CEO, and also in 2008, the company began the introduction of its first car model, the Roadster sports car, followed by the Model S sedan and the Model X SUV, the Model 3 sedan, the Model Y crossover, the Tesla semi-truck, that disaster, and the Cybertruck pickup truck. Now that's the one that's the disaster in 2023. In June 2021, the Model 3 became the first electric car to sell 1 million units globally. The Model Y in 2023 was the best-selling vehicle of any kind globally. But yeah, again, another company he did not found. He was not on the ground floor. He just bought into it, took it over from the inside. It's like he don't have his own fucking ideas. Twitter, now known as X, which, remember, he had a company known as X.com when he merged with the group Confinity that would become PayPal. It's, of course, we know Twitter, social networking site, and is one of the world's largest social media platforms and one of the most visited websites. Blah, blah. It was created in March 2006 by Jack Dorsey, Noah Glass, Biz Stone, and Evan Williams, and was launched in July of that year. Twitter grew quickly. By 6 years later, 2012, more than 100 million users produced 340 million daily tweets. Twitter Incorporated was based in San Francisco, California, and had more than 25 offices around the world. Signature characteristic of the service initially was that posts were required to be brief, limited to 140 characters, which changed to 280 in 2017. Limitation was removed for subscribed accounts in 2023. The majority of tweets are produced by minority of users now. In 2020, it was estimated that approximately 48 million accounts were run by internet bots rather than humans. So 48 million, 15% of all accounts. Yeah. It's become a trash pile. Since who got involved? Yeah, rich boy. The service is owned by the American company X Corporation, which was established to succeed the prior owner, Twitter Incorporated, in March of 2023, following the October 2022 acquisition by Twitter. Acquisition of Twitter by Elon Musk. Bought it for $44 billion. He stated that his goal was in the acquisition was to promote free speech on the platform. However, since the acquisition, it has been criticized for enabling the increased spread of disinformation and hate speech. Linda Yaccarino succeeded Musk as CEO, although Musk still owns the company and does a lot of the bossing around it, on June the 5th, 2023. with Musk remaining as chairman and chief technology officer. In July 2023, Musk announced that Twitter would be rebranded to X. He likes that X for some reason. Like I said, he had X.com. Now he owns X, which is headed by X Corp. So yeah. And the bird logo would be retired, a process which was completed by May of 2024. I don't give a fuck about Twitter since Musk took it over. It's a shit pile. Since Musk takeover, data from app tracking firms has shown that global usage of Twitter has declined by approximately 15% compared to a decline of 5 to 10% in some other social media sites. The platform has disputed that usage has dropped at all, with Musk saying that its membership has grown to 600 million users in a May 2024 tweet. By October 2024, the platform was estimated to have lost about 72% of its value since he had purchased it. He's allowed it to turn into a trash pile because he thought he could make it into a money-making machine. It never was. It was meant to be a social media platform where people could communicate. That's what it was before. He's just turned it into a propaganda trash pile. Seriously. And now let's look at the one company he probably actually did found. Yeah, Elon Musk. And again, remember how he loves that X. It's now referred to as SpaceX, which its actual name is the Space Exploration Technologies Corporation. And it is a space technology company headquartered in Starbase Development Site near Brownsville, Texas. It was founded in 2001, and the company has made numerous advancements in rocket propulsion, reusable launch vehicles, human spaceflight, and satellite constellation technology. As of 2024, SpaceX is the world's dominant space launch provider. Yeah, Blue Origins, which was Bezos's big group, has kind of faded, and then Virgin Space has also kind of fallen to the wayside, which was Richard Branson's space company. So, yeah, NASA hadn't been doing any manned space flights, so SpaceX more or less just made its way to the top by a process of, yeah, it just stayed around. Launch cadence eclipsing all others, including private competitors and national programs, like the Chinese space program. SpaceX, NASA, and the U.S. Armed Forces work closely together by means of governmental contracts, which is one of the big forms he gets money through. And has spendable money outside of his stock portfolio. SpaceX was founded by Elon Musk in 2001 with a vision of decreasing the cost of space launches, paving the way to a sustainable colony on Mars. In 2008, when SpaceX was almost broke, its Falcon 1 successfully launched into orbit after 3 failed attempts. The company then pivoted toward the development of the larger Falcon 9 rocket and the Dragon 1 capsule to satisfy NASA's COTS contracts. What is that? COTS? Commercial Orbital Transportation Services. So, delivering people to the International Space Station. Yeah, for deliveries to the International Space Station. So, it might deliver goods and stuff via its more common launches. By 2012, SpaceX finished all COTS test flights and began delivering commercial resupply services missions to the International Space Station. Around that time, it started developing hardware to make the Falcon 9 first stage reusable. So this is something I will give him credit for, making something that can be reused. It's at least that he deserves credit for. There's a lot he don't deserve the credit he's often given, but yeah, that I'll give him credit for. The company demonstrated the first successful first stage landing in 2015 and relaunch of the first stage in 2017. So yeah. As of October 2024, the company's Falcon 9 rockets have landed and flown again more than 330 times, reaching 1 to 2 launches a week. Like I said, he does so many launches now that he's getting that down pat. And so, yeah. 2019, the first operational satellite of the Starlink internet satellite constellation came online. Starlink generated the bulk of SpaceX's income and paved the way for the Starshield military counterpart. In 2020, it began to operate Dragon 2 capsules to deliver crewed missions for NASA and private entities. Around this time, it began building test prototypes for Starship, which was the largest launch vehicle in history and aims to fully realize the company's vision of a fully reusable, cost-effective, and adaptable launch. There's some things in SpaceX I can actually give them credit for because they're actually halfway decent. But a lot of stuff he just kind of bought his way into. But, he has roles in founding the Boring Company, XAI, Neuralink, and OpenAI. But as we've talked about, richest individual in the world, he's a member of a wealthy South African family and he was born in Pretoria, briefly attended at the University of Pretoria, and at the age of 18, he immigrated to Canada, acquiring his citizenship through his Canadian-born mother, May. 2 years later, he matriculated at Queen's University at Kingston in Canada. Formal process of entering a university or becoming eligible. Okay, so it's just saying he entered Queen's University. He would transfer to the University of Pennsylvania and receive a bachelor's degree in economics and physics. He moved to California in 1995 to attend Stanford, but never enrolled in classes. And with his brother Kimball, co-founded the online city guide software company Zip2. Startup was acquired by Compaq for $307 million in 1999. That same year, Musk co-founded X.com, which would merge with Confinity to form PayPal. Musk acquired his U.S. citizenship in 2002, and that same October, PayPal was acquired by eBay for $1.5 billion. So, we're starting to see where he picks up his money. He was never born poor. His family was very well off. I won't call them super wealthy or anything, but they're very well off. Wikipedia calls them wealthy, but yeah. Now let's see. Childhood and family. Model mother May was a model and dietitian born in Saskatchewan, Canada, and raised in South Africa. His father, Errol Musk, is a South African electromechanical engineer, pilot, sailor, consultant, emerald dealer, and property developer who partly owned a rental lodge at Timbavati Private Nature Reserve. Okay. His family was wealthy during Elon's youth. Despite previously stating that his father Errol was part owner of a Zambian emerald mine, in 2023 Errol recounted that the deal he made was to receive a portion of the emeralds produced at 3 small mines. Errol had a bit of a time as a politician on the Pretoria City Council. Anti-apartheid, claiming they was part of the Progressive Party. Yet, Musk is nothing like that. Musk's maternal grandfather, so his mother's father, Joshua Haldeman, was an American-born Canadian who took his family on record-breaking journeys to Africa and Australia in a single-engine Blanca airplane. Haldeman died when Elon was still a toddler. Elon has recounted trips to a wilderness school that he described as a paramilitary Lord of the Flies, where bullying was a virtue and children were encouraged to fight over rations. After his parents divorced in 1980, Elon chose to live primarily with his father. He later regretted that decision and became estranged from his father. Elon would describe his father berating him after he was discharged from the hospital where he was hospitalized from being beaten and thrown down steps while in school, claiming I had to stand for an hour as he yelled at me and called me an idiot and told me I was just worthless. Errol denies this, but Elon claims the boy has just lost his father to suicide and Elon called him stupid. Elon has a tendency to call people stupid. How could I blame that child? He would be enrolled in private school afterwards. Da, 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 da. He would apply for a Canadian passport after graduating high school through his mother, who was Canadian born, to avoid South Africa's mandatory military service. So, much like Trump, he was a service skipper, which would have forced him to participate in the apartheid regime and ease his path to immigration to the and to he also applied so he could ease his path to immigration to the U.S. Attended University of Pretoria for 5 months while waiting for the application to be processed. Arrived in Canada in June 1989. Connected with his second cousin in Saskatchewan. Jaws, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah. So, yeah. Transferred to the University of Pennsylvania from Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, Canada. Bachelor of Arts in Physics and a Bachelor of Science in Economics from Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania. The same place Trump brags, I went to a very good school, Wharton School, which, yes, University of Pennsylvania is an Ivy League, but a lot of those jackasses were often allowed in because of money or family name. A lot of them didn't make it on their own capabilities. He repeatedly hosted large ticketed house parties to help pay for tuition and wrote a business plan, blah, blah, blah. Now, this shows where he began. So he's never really been poor. He has no idea what it's like. He may claim he does. Oh, I wasn't all that rich. Whatever, dude. Yeah, this is from Barron's. Elon Musk's wealth approaches half a trillion in a post-election surge. So this is a pretty recent article, December 19th, 2024. Yeah, he's closing in on half a trillion, 500 billion. Think about this. 1 billion is 1 million million. Yeah. $1 million. He has that almost 500 times. This is what I'm talking about. Wealth inequality. And you often hear people going, "No, but it's in stocks." I don't give a shit. Tax is goddamn stocks. This shit shouldn't be happening while we have homelessness, while we have food insecurity, while people go into debt for college and university, they go into debt for healthcare. This shit shouldn't fucking exist. From inequality.org, how did Elon Musk become the richest person on Earth? This is from a couple months back, October 17th, 2024. But yeah, at that point, he was only the quarter trillionaire. Has had plenty of help from all of us U.S. taxpayers. Once upon a time here in the U.S., we tax the rich. Significantly today, by contrast, we're actively enhancing their fortunes, including the biggest personal fortune of them all, the $250 billion stash that belongs to Elon Musk, the current numero uno on the Forbes real-time list of the world's largest fortunes. Musk owns a hefty chunk of his own personal fortune. To the taxes average Americans pay. He just happens to be, notes a just published political analysis, the single biggest beneficiary of U.S. government contracts. Again, going back to SpaceX. Two of Musk's commercial operations, Tesla and SpaceX, have received billions in American taxpayer support. The federal government, Politico points out, has essentially outsourced its space program to SpaceX. And Tesla, a shaky electric vehicle company when Musk bought it, only took off after receiving $465 million in subsidies from the Obama administration in 2010. Thanks, Obama. All the tax dollars that Musk has collected from the Defense Department, NASA, and the U.S. intelligence community, coupled with the generous government subsidies and tax credits to the electric vehicle industry that have so boosted Musk's Tesla, have Counsel on the Foreign Relations Senior Fellow Max Boot fairly fuming. Taxpayers like himself, Boot notes, are subsidizing the fire hose of falsehoods that now appear on X, the former Twitter, the social media app that Musk bought for $44 billion 2 years ago. Yeah, our tax dollars have essentially supersized our world's single wealthiest individual. Back in the middle of the 20th century, the United States took quite a different approach with the money pouring into rich people's pockets. From the early 1940s through the mid-1960s, the incomes of America's richest faced a tax bite that would be unimaginable today. Oh, that would be boo-hoo-hoo. And we're talking about the wealthy, not the average, not the working class, not the poor, the middle class. No, we're talking about the goddamn wealthy motherfuckers that make millions. In 1942, then President Franklin Roosevelt proposed 100% tax rate on income over $25,000, which, remember, at that time was quite a bit. The equivalent of about $484,000 today. Like I said, quite a bit. Congress wouldn't go along with that 100% top rate, but lawmakers did give him the okay to a 94% top tax rate on 1944 income over $200,000. Remember, $200,000 in 1944. He wanted 100% on $25,000. They said, no, we want only on the 200,000 or more. And it can only be 94%. But in the 1950s, under Republican President Dwight Eisenhower, the federal tax rate on top bracket income never dipped below 91%. So yes, both Democrats and Republicans actually fucking once upon a time used to fucking tax the rich. They don't now. Both parties suck their dicks. Today's top bracket federal income tax rate, that stands on paper at 37% on an income over $693,751 for a couple filing jointly. But assorted loopholes have left the tax rate the rich face on their actual annual gains enormously lower. In 2021, a joint report from the Biden administration's Office of Management and Budget and Council of Economic Advisors calculated that America's wealthiest 400 billionaire families between 2010 and 2018 paid an average of just 8.2% of their income, counting the gains in the value of their investments in federal individual income taxes. That's a lower rate than many ordinary Americans pay. So yeah, many Americans pay well over that 8.2%. It's just we're not rich and can't access the same fucking loopholes. Could we ever get back to anything close to the Eisenhower era rates on the richest among us? This past March, the Biden administration proposed a 25% minimum tax on the total income, including unrealized capital gains of the nation's top 0.01% households worth at least $100 million. About the same time, progressive lawmakers led by Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts and Representatives Pramila Jayapal of Washington and Brendan Boyle of Pennsylvania introduced the Ultra Millionaire Tax Act, legislation that would impose a wealth tax on America's 100,000 wealthiest households, our richest 0.05%. So the proposals are there. They have been made. We know this shit. Under this proposed legislation, wealthy households worth up to $1 billion would face an annual tax of 2% on their wealth over $50 million. Richer households would face an additional 1% tax on wealth over $1 billion. One of the Senate co-sponsors of that legislation, Bernie Sanders, has also gone a step further and called for a 100% personal tax on wealth over $1 billion. I think people can make it fine on $999 million, said Sanders, in a telling Chris Wallace. Sanders and one of America's most famous deep pockets, Bill Gates, have actually a friendly podcast discussion over whether our tax rate should allow billion-dollar fortunes to even exist. The Sanders proposal, noted Gates, would tax away over 99% of his personal fortune. Gates would be willing to let the IRS take 62%, about $100 billion. For a better America, that certainly might make a good place to start. So yeah, again, billionaires should not exist when people struggle so badly. But Elon Musk is the world's richest person, and he gets it through subsidies that are provided through the taxation of average U.S. taxpayers, average Americans. He is not a hero. He is not an idol. He is someone that has always bought his way into positions of power to get richer and richer. And that is not okay. And yet, Trump made him part of his administration. I'm so sick of politicians, Republican, Democrat, I don't give a goddamn, that suck the dicks of the goddamn rich. That shit needs to end. Seriously. But yeah, I wanted to give you all a look at our richest person on earth. And we're going to be looking at more jackasses who are super wealthy when other people suffer. Anyway. As always, if I can move my mouse, Educate thyself. Think, read, study, learn. Someone tells you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I'll be putting my links and sources in the description box below the video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, later.